Well, hello everyone, welcome to Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi for round 18 of Season 2 of F1 2012 Career Mode. And yes, it is raining. Let's have a quick look at the weather forecast I was given. 100% of rain across the board. This is a desert, Codemasters. A desert. 2 seasons in a row you've given me rain on a race day. And it's quite frankly annoying. I don't have a problem with rain, I don't have a problem with the concept of rain, but you have implemented it so badly in this game, it's unreal. But let's get on with today's race. We're starting off on the intermediate tyres, as is everyone else. I had to have a quick look over at Schumacher, see what tyres he was on, and yes, everyone is on the intermediates to start the race. So obviously I started at the back. As you see, there was no qualifying because it gave me the same situation as it did a couple of races ago, where no tyres had any grip whatsoever, and they were setting dry times, so it was pretty pointless trying to get out of Q1. So I nearly went into the back of Di Resta there, just about avoided him, but clonked him again just as we went round the first corner. So now my job is I've got to do a Sebastian Vettel type race, pretty much from the back for as high up as I can go, even if it means going across the curbs like a madman and being very aggressive into the corners there. Toro Rosso broke his front wing a bit on me, but that was fine, didn't get a penalty for that, even though I probably should have done for a bit of dangerous driving. But I'll take that, and I'm already up to 16th as we come up this long straight. See the spray being kicked up by all the cars in front. Still a bit of shock as to why it's raining, but still. Those covers on the stands aren't for just rain cover. They're mainly for keeping people in the shade. Well, no, Codemasters say it has to rain here, so gonna have to deal with it. What happens in the next race is even worse, I have to say. But it's not to do with the rain. You'll see that one when it comes. Gonna try and make a double overtake here. It just about worked. Don't know why the Sauber slowed down that much, but still. Now we're up to 14th. Still got a long way to go. I'm hoping the rain will stop and they'll go into the pits, because what's been happening in the practice session and qualifying, I think happened in the qualifying session, but it didn't happen in Q1, is that it started raining at the start and then dried off, and when this track dries, it dries extremely quickly. But that wasn't how the AI got their dry times though, because when I went out at the end of Q1, they were setting nearly dry times that are a couple of seconds off that you'd expect from pole position. The track was in these conditions, quite damp, and there was no dry line anywhere. So that's why I really didn't get a time in on Q1. I actually gave up. I just thought, stuff it, I start at the back. But there you go. I'm not too shabby at doing my races from the back because of the AI being a bit slow on the first lap, of course. But we seem to have hit a point where we can't get much further without doing some proper cornering and racing. Might be able to take Maldonado. The field is starting to spread out a bit now. Alonso's rocketed off into the distance in the lead. I have just about got in front of Maldonado there. Slightly gutsy move, nearly outbraked myself, but I made it. Now we've got the Caterham with Petrov out in front. Yes, they are our midfield team this year, if any of you haven't seen my previous videos. So it's not a surprise to see Petrov and Kovalainen mixing it up in the midfield. But I'm setting some decent enough times, even though I'm taking out the bollards. So yeah, just coming round to the hotel now. I'm actually quite surprised that I'm keeping this thing on the track and not slipping around everywhere. My tyres did not work at all in Q1, and now they suddenly do, and I haven't changed anything on the car because you're not allowed to. Apart from the front wing, of course. Oh yes, everyone peels off into the pits for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, if they're putting dry tyres on, then that's a bit stupid because the conditions are absolutely stupid for dry tyres. So that's why I've chosen to stay out and not go in. The only time I'm going to go into the pits is if it dries off a bit and I start losing grip. So that's why I've now ended up in the lead from starting in last place. I swear, this Abu Dhabi is totally bugged on my game. It really is when it comes to these specific conditions. The Mercedes in Season 2 of your career in Abu Dhabi. But it just seems like my career's totally topsy-turvy with the weather. I mean, you got rain in the desert, and then a lot of the other tracks I've had before have been pretty much dry all sessions. I don't understand the game's logic where it comprehends and works out how and when it should rain. It's just disappointing, that's all. Some of these problems, I really hope they do get sorted for the next game. But yeah. At least I'm meeting my objective so far. Above 11th, so ideally what I want to do is score some points and limit the damage that Hamilton might do to the championship lead. I mean, obviously the more points I can get, the better. Surprisingly, Alonso hasn't really caught up that much yet. I'm sure he will eventually. I mean, he's AI after all. Hell, even a professional human could, I suppose, do it. Because I'm not exactly the fastest bloke in the world, but I have set the fastest lap in this race at the moment. I'm sure Alonso will set something along the lines of that time later on. I'm starting to lose a little bit of grip here. I think that's kind of down to me rather than the track surface. Oh, Perez is up in third. I didn't actually notice that. He's doing quite well today. I'm more interested in seeing where Hamilton is, because he's my rival in the championship, and of course Alonso is right behind me. I don't expect to beat him today, but I'll put up a damn good fight, hopefully. Because it looks like he's just going to draw level again in the drivers' rivalry. As I lose total grip there and have to cut the corner. I'm beginning to slow down a bit, because I think the track is ever so slightly drying up in some places somehow, even though the rain is still falling. Let's see, I've got little to no grip there, and my tyres aren't exactly worn either. So Alonso should be catching me up a little bit now. We've come around to finish the 4th lap. See what time difference there is. I done a 1:56 last lap. This lap probably not so good. Probably about a couple of seconds off. Oh no, actually only 2/10 off. That's quite surprising really. That's why Alonso hasn't really closed the gap yet. He's 4.4 behind. Massa's doing alright as well. He's up in 4th. So I don't know where the McLarens have gone, but they're not doing too well. I can see Schumacher is around, what, 10th or something? 12th? Around the midfield. And there you go, Alonso's set the fastest lap. So on that lap he was around 6/10 faster than me. So he should have closed the gap by about 6/10. I mean, now it's 4 seconds because I didn't go especially fast in the first sector. But I think he's going to close up to me now anyway, because because I'm losing grip. And as you can see on the screen, there's a bit of rain there, which suggests it's the rain's actually getting a bit harder, especially in that section anyway. So more rain is coming onto the circuit, which means the grip levels are coming back to me a little bit. But hopefully the rain should stop sometime soon and I can make a pit stop onto the dry tyre. Because as I said, it doesn't take long for this track to dry up, probably simulating the fact that it's a desert. I mean, I suppose they got one thing right. But when have you ever seen it rain in Abu Dhabi? It's on a race day. For how many years the race has been held here? Have you ever seen it rain once? Even a millimetre? 15 minutes time the rain's going to stop, apparently. Oh, that's great. So now I'm preparing to go the whole race distance on these intermediates, which they can do it.
You're putting a good distance between yourself and the car behind.
But I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. Well, not for me anyway. I'm sure a professional, I mean a proper expert at this game could do it. No doubt in that, because I know I know plenty of YouTubers that have got videos out there who are like, you look at them and think, well, how the hell does he do it? But for me, the tyres just go away too quickly. They just lose enough grip that I am not adapting quick enough, or I just can't control it. So that I end up losing time and positions. But luckily I am still out in front, and there is quite a sizable gap to whoever's in third. It's just Alonso has found some speed in the last few races to try and stop his seat from being taken by me for next year. Should be interesting to drive the Ferrari though. Oh, bit of a slide, bit of a drift going around there. I say it should be interesting to see how the Ferrari does next year if I get that seat. Ideally, I don't want a McLaren seat. Yeah, but if a Ferrari seat's up for offer, then I wouldn't say no. Definitely, even if the car is a couple of seconds off the pace at the start of the season. I mean, that should be interesting to deal with. See if I can get the car into Q3 for a start. I'm sure I should be able to because it's professional, but not a legend, but you never know. I'm expecting the car to be a little bit off the pace at the beginning of the season like it was in real life. I mean, it never really was on the pace, but Alonso just got so much out of the car that it made Massa look like he wasn't even trying.
You have a 2-second gap to the car behind. We need to keep it clean so he doesn't get a chance to overtake.
Hopefully it shouldn't be too bad, because it looks like Ferrari is going to finish third in the Constructors' Championship this season. And taking on board that and the fact that Mercedes, I think, finished around 5th or 6th in the Constructors when I was at Williams. And the car shouldn't be too bad. It should be up there in the top tiers in terms of how fast it is in development. I got offered a contract from Force India a couple of races, I think it was a couple of races ago or last race. I got offered a contract from them to be the number 2 driver. I was like, are you serious? You're basically the backmarker team. You're almost as bad as HRT. And you're offering me a position as number 2 driver. Are you serious? So I rejected that contract straight away, that's for sure. As you can see by the results I've been having this season, that De Resta and Hulkenberg are basically mixing it up with the Marussias down the bottom there. But never mind. I'm going to go for another lap because the rain is actually trying to stop in some places. I think it's still dripping down on screen. But I'm going to have to make a decision at some point. which has been made now, I think. As soon as I went round that corner, I think I knew I was going to come in this lap. I believe it's this lap anyway, I think it was lap 8 that I come in and have a go at the dry tyres, because I'm losing just so much grip
Watch out for the car behind. He's only 2 seconds down on you.
that
He might
I
try
can
and
only
overtake
go
if you make a mistake.
for the dry tyres. Obviously I'm not going to go for the wet tyres because it's not heavy raining. So I've only got one direction to go in. Just checking my stuff there. My tyres, what state they're in. Just to make sure it wasn't my tyres going off before I came into the pits.
Okay, looks like the weather's going to improve shortly. Rain will ease off in 5 minutes' time.
Alright, so the rain is going to ease off in 5 minutes time. I'm just going to... That's not what I wanted. I wanted the tyre selection, which sort of messes me up for this corner, so I broke a bit early.
Tyres for your next stop.
But I have to make sure that the option tyres have been selected. And then I'm going to go for that. At this point I'm wondering what position I'm going to come out in. It says, I think it said I was going to come out around about 5th position. Let's see, I've got absolutely no grip whatsoever. So, at least I got enough grip to drive in a straight line. So I'm going to have to go for the dry tyres now. So I should be peeing off into the pits round about now. And what really surprises me is that Alonso follows me in the pits. So that's why I look behind, I think. Yeah, there you go. Don't often do that. Let's see if my mechanics can get me out in front though.
Go now.
Oh, and they did. They done really well. So it's up to me now.
Track is clear.
And it was just by pure coincidence and luck that all the AI have just come in for their dry tyres. Or I assume it's dry tyres. That's for sure. And I've actually held on to the lead.
Pit stops, so look after your tyres.
I was so surprised, you could not imagine that I managed to call that at exactly the right time. I mean, that never happens to me. The only time I've had something
Other teams are
on this level is in Hungary, I think.
considering changing yours too.
I can't remember if it was this season or last season when I changed the tyres, or when I decided to come into the pits at the same time as the AI. But never as the leader have I made that decision and actually be right. So it's a nice change from the norm of slipping around, sliding around for a whole lap, losing a load of time and then coming in. But I knew this track dried up quickly, so I was like, yeah, sure I can get away with it. And it looks like I have, but Alonso is 1.5 seconds behind us. Probably won't be long before he gets DRS on me, so I'm going to have to be a bit defensive, even though I totally messed up that corner there. That probably wouldn't have helped. But Massa's 12 seconds down the road. Looks like it's going to be a good day for Ferrari. They'll be on the podium. But just in which order? Who knows? Only I know. And you'll just have to find out. But yeah, it's really amazing to find myself up in the lead, considering I wasn't even expecting to be anywhere near winning the race. It's not over yet, obviously, because Alonso's going to start pressuring us soon. But for some reason Alonso is saving fuel at the moment, so he's not going to catch up just yet. I mean, he's going to be there. He might have DRS on me in a moment, but he's in the saving fuel mode. Maybe he burned too much of it up trying to catch me on the intermediate tyres. But yeah, he's got DRS on me now, so he'll be quite a threat. Because this is a long straight to defend on. Even though the DRS zone is sort of shortened, I should just be about in front here. See, he's only just caught up to the back of me by the time I've reached the end of the straight. Bit of a lock up from me there on the front left. Made it round. Now there's a second DRS zone. Can use up the rest of my curves here. Hopefully it'll put me up just about in front of him enough to get to the corner, and it has. And obviously he's still in fuel conservation mode, because otherwise he probably would have just zoomed past me. I'm just guessing he used too much fuel up, because I don't usually hear that being said, the fuel conservation thing. But it's all turned up well for me on this race so far. Even if I get second place, that would be amazing, because instead of losing points to Hamilton, I'll probably gain points over Hamilton. And I don't even know where he is. I don't even know where Button is, because Perez is in 4th there. So it's turned out really well, and it's going to put me in a really strong position to fight for the championship with only 2 races left to go. There I go, setting the fastest lap. Expect Massa will come along in a minute and set another fastest one. Yeah, there we go. So Ferrari's doing well, Massa's doing well. Half a second quicker than me on that last lap. But he's 11 seconds down the road, so he's not going to threaten us anytime soon. At least you'd hope not anyway. I still can't make too many mistakes though. I've got Alonso behind me. He's outside of the second that he needs for DRS, but he's Alonso. Let's just, you know, Alonso is always a threat, no matter what race it is. Schumacher's done a blistering lap of a 1:46.3. As long as I manage the gap to Alonso, I don't think I'm in rich fuel mix mode at the moment, so I won't be going quite so fast. But until he changes his fuel mixture mode, then I should be okay to maintain the gap at the very least. He's certainly not doing himself any favours. Maybe even if he was in standard mix mode, he could probably catch me up. But he's not doing himself any favours at the moment, just sitting back there waiting for me to make a mistake. There's only 3 laps to go. He's 2 seconds off. And this track isn't actually too bad a track for me. I'm relatively quick when I've had lots of practice. I mean, I didn't manage to get lots of practice in though on this time round, because the practice session was raining and qualifying was crap as well. But I know this circuit quite well. I've done a lot of laps on the demo of F1 2012, and I learnt this track pretty much inside out, and I know where everything is. As much as I'm bad at the game in some corners and places and tracks, I think I do okay at this track. And obviously I never claim to be the fastest, and probably never will be, but I do well for what I want to do, and I do like a challenge. Just unfortunately, Legend's a bit too far off my talents for now.
There's not much between you and the car behind, just 2 seconds.
So there's still 2 seconds. I'm maintaining the gap quite well. The sun's setting. It's the first time I've seen the sun, I think, in the desert. Enough about that. I'll get over it as soon as it looks like I'm going to win this. Still, I am still irritated by Codemasters, but I'm slightly happier that I managed to win this, because even though it tried to ruin my chances of winning the championship this year, things still are looking up. And depending where Hamilton finishes, depends on the points gap between us. I do have a pretty sizable gap to Hamilton at the moment, I think. And if I win this race, I might even be able to stretch it to a whole race win of points ahead. So I could basically crash out of one of the next 2 races and still be in the lead. which is a really nice place to be in, but still doesn't mean the pressure's off. I could win the championship in America. It's certainly possible if I win this race and Hamilton finishes, what, I don't know, 5th or lower? So I haven't seen any sign of him yet, that's for sure. McLaren seem to be dropping off the pace a tiny bit at the end of the season. Don't quite know why. I mean, if you remember back to my previous races, they were like 1 and 2 nearly every time, apart from when I got into the mix. It's coming round to the hotel for the penultimate time. Let's just hope I keep the thing on the road. I don't think my tyre degradation's too bad. Seem to be managing the tyres pretty well, I think, on this track. I mean, it definitely helps that these are new options as well. So I changed them on lap 8, which meant they have gone only about 5 laps or so, roundabout. So that's more than going to be able to make it to the end without going off. That's for sure. So I should be okay to keep this gap up to Alonso, which has actually increased to 3 seconds now. I didn't actually notice that I was eking out a gap again. I think it's because I'm keeping the car on the road, which is a nice change. Massa has sort of levelled out around 10 seconds behind Alonso. I don't think he's going to catch up anytime soon. Wouldn't surprise me that he's been told not to pass Alonso. Still. Not that it really matters. The Ferraris, neither of them have any chance in the Drivers' Championship now anyway. It's just the Constructors they need to work on. In which I don't think they are actually going to catch us because they're in 3rd. Mercedes are nearly or around about 100 points ahead or something. Something crazy. But I do believe McLaren are about to win the Constructors. If not this race, the next race. So that championship is lost. It's just all down to my Drivers' Championship hopes now. Just going around the final few corners now. Nearly trying to mess it up, but not quite. And I have made it across the line to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I still can't believe it. Managed to come from the back to the front through the aid of an extra pit stop made by the AI. But there you go. Schumacher finished down in 10th there. Yeah, so Lewis Hamilton finished in 5th there. So I scored 15 more points than him, which puts me in a really, really good position. But yeah, Alonso won't be best pleased that he did all that work and ended up 2nd, to be beaten by someone from the back of the grid. But there's the rest of the results. Webber finishing behind a Toro Rosso. Jenson Button didn't actually finish the race. He crashed out somewhere along the way. Don't know what happened to him. Failure or crash, could be one or the other. So let's have a look at the Drivers' Championship.
Topping the Drivers' Championship table.
And yes, there we go. Just as I thought, I have a race win in hand, so I could win the championship at the next race. Quite possibly, because I'm 33 points ahead of him. Looks like Lewis is going to finish ahead of Button. Alonso's going to finish in 4th. Schumacher cannot catch up Alonso, I don't think. So I think the top 4 is pretty much sorted, apart from who's going to win the Drivers' Championship. Anything can happen in F1, and it usually does. Always remember that. So Constructors, McLaren, I think they pretty much won. I think they could win at the next race. So 43, 86. So they need to be 86 points ahead at this point of the championship. They are not. So they will probably win the Constructors at the next race. So there we go, as I celebrate my win. It's an amazing win, probably my best win of my career. Most definitely. So join me next time for the penultimate race of the season in America. I'll see you then.